Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. It's me, Nicole, your pocket neuroscientist. Today I'm going to be talking about emotional regulation. It's one of the questions that came up most prominently in the Q&A from last week. So, what is emotional regulation? Many people don't know this. Whilst emotions are important and they are communicating something that is happening within us, we actually have a lot more control over them than we think we do. So emotional regulation is the process by which we can influence our emotions when we're having them. One of my colleagues, Courtney, used an amazing analogy, which is going to be in my next week's newsletter. And it's almost as if you are controlling the volume of the TV with a remote control. You can choose when you want to turn up the volume, you can choose when you want to turn down the volume, and you can understand where the volume is coming from and what to do about it. I love that analogy. Thanks, Courtney. So today I want to leave you with 5 tips that you can use to regulate your own emotions regardless of the emotion. But before I give you those tips, there's one thing I really want you to understand. If you think you are somebody that is very emotional, you can't control your emotions, I think that we need to step away from that narrative of saying that we are too emotional. Emotions are important. They are part of our everyday life. I hate that when people box us into this box that says you're too sensitive. But what I want you to also understand is that we can change the functional connectivity between the frontal cortex and the limbic system. Now, the limbic system is responsible for emotions, the frontal cortex responsible for higher order thinking and reasoning. What we've seen in research is that we can gain emotional awareness by strengthening the connectivity between these two systems, so we are able to regulate that emotion much better over time and appreciate the emotions for what they are as well. So I'm going to leave you today with 5 tips. Tip number 1 is to observe them. Humans have this ability to observe thoughts. It's called metacognition. It's what differentiates us from other animals. We can observe the feelings and thoughts as we are feeling them. Tip number 2 is to name them. You can use the wheel of emotions to accurately name what you are feeling right now. By accurately naming our emotions, we are recruiting frontal cortex activity and diminishing activity in the amygdala. The amygdala is your fear processing center. So when that has lowered activation, you are able to feel your emotions with less of a fear response. Tip number 3 is to sit with it. We should feel our emotions to a certain degree. I don't want you to push them away. I don't want you to not feel them. I want you to be able to get control over them so that you can essentially appreciate them for what they are. There's a reason why you're feeling the way that you are feeling. Tip number 4 is to breathe. The physiological sigh is one of the best tools to help regulate your central nervous system back to a state of calm. So let's do it together twice. 2 inhales through the nose, pause at the top for a second, and a long exhale through the mouth. That'll communicate with your brain that you are not in a state of danger and you can reinstate a state of calm. Tip number 5 is understand it. Understand where the emotion came from so that you are better equipped for the next time. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in. If you haven't liked, commented, or subscribed, please do so now. You can drop your questions in the comment section. I'll be answering questions every single week in a Q&A. And just a quick shout out to one of my followers, Jasmine. So I've put her handle here on Instagram. Check her out, she's a designer. She sent this to me, which was a surprise, and it's just fantastic. So check her out, and thank you. It's Nicole, your pocket neuroscientist.